With the Giants sitting at 2-11, we're at the point in the season where we start to look to the offseason. And on today's show, I'm going to go through 5 coaches the New York Giants should be looking to hire if Brian Daboll does get fired. Before I do that, though, I want to hear from you. Do you think Brian Daboll should be fired? If you want him canned, hit that thumbs up icon. And if you want him back as the New York Football Giants head coach, comment why. Give me a good reason, because I haven't heard one yet. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. I appreciate everybody for stopping by as we look ahead to the 2025 season with still 4 games to play for Big Blue. I thought today would be a good opportunity to talk about coaches the New York Giants should look to hire if they do fire Brian Daboll, because I do believe the right time, or the time is right for the Giants to make that move. The Giants should fire Joe Schoen. I don't think he has done enough. I don't think he's improved the roster enough in his 3 years as the general manager to retain that job. I go back to his opening presser as the GM. He said we want to build for tomorrow and compete for today. Build for tomorrow, compete for today. Your record has gotten worse every single year you have been the general manager of the New York Giants. I think their roster has gotten worse every single year as well. I will say this about Brian Daboll. I do think he should be fired, mainly because I think Joe Schoen should be fired, and I believe they are a package deal. But if the new GM that the Giants hire wants to keep Brian Daboll, I'm fine with that. If you want to keep Brian Daboll, the new GM, you think he's the best guy for the job, I'm fine with Brian Daboll's stand. And I honestly, as someone who I do think Brian Daboll should be fired, there is still something in the back of my head that whispers to me every time, it would be nice for Brian Daboll to work with a rookie quarterback. I mean, that is the reason that you did hire this guy, to identify the next franchise quarterback and for him to develop that next franchise quarterback. So I like the idea of him being paired with a rookie quarterback. But I'm not sure Daboll has done enough to keep his job. I can't remember the last time the Giants went into a game and I was like, they have a direct coaching advantage because of Brian Daboll. I didn't leave a game one time this year where I was like, Brian Daboll outcoached that other coach, and they won the game because of that. Mainly because they've only won 2 games. But even in losses where games were lost by the New York Giants, I haven't walked away very confident saying we had the best head coach in that game, and he is going to bring us success down the road. As of today, December 10th, 2024, I do think Daboll and Joe Schoen are going to be back. Unfortunately, I do think that is going to happen. I don't think John Mara wants to move on and do all this over again, but I think he should, because it's the perfect time to hit the reset button. You're about to select a quarterback in the top 5 of the 2025 NFL draft. You're going to have $65 million in cap space. Now is the time to clean house, put someone in charge that can right this ship. And my number 1 head coach candidate to replace Brian Daboll is Mike Vrabel. And it's really not even close. The gap between 1 and 2 is large. I want Mike Vrabel to be the next head football coach for the New York Giants. Vrabel is the culture changer that this organization needs. They are a mess right now, from John Mara to the 52nd player on the roster. It is a mess, and it needs to be cleaned up. He brings an identity to this football team. But beyond that, he's a damn good football coach, and he did a hell of a job with the Tennessee Titans. Vrabel led the Titans to 4 straight seasons with a winning record. In 2019, they made it to the AFC Championship game for the first time since 1999. Between 2020 and 2021, the Titans won back-to-back AFC South championships. In 2021, they were the number 1 seed in the AFC. Vrabel finished his tenure with a 56-48 record, including regular season and playoff games. Got you there 3 times. You finished first twice in the AFC South. You finished second twice in the AFC South. He's a good football coach, and I think he can get the absolute most out of a roster, especially one that was led by Ryan Tannehill. Vrabel gives you an identity. Smash mouth, hard-nosed. We're going to be prepared, and we are going to execute. No nonsense. No 12 men on the field. No delay of games coming out of timeouts. Not knowing which kicker should play if he's hurt or not. He will have your team ready to play and be more prepared than the opposing team every single Sunday. And that's what I want. And I also think about it like this. When I close my eyes, can I ask the question, is Mike Vrabel a confetti guy? Can you picture the confetti falling on the face of Mike Vrabel when he holds up that Lombardi trophy? I can. I can visualize Mike Vrabel put number 5 in the trophy case at 1925 Giants Drive. I believe he is the best head coach available, and I would do everything it takes to hire him. And I would even let him be involved in the GM search if you want to hire him first, because I think he knows what it takes to win in this league. He's done it as a coach, and he has done it as a player multiple times at the highest level. So Mike Vrabel, my number 1 candidate to replace Brian Daboll if he is fired. Number 2, I'm going to go Ben Johnson, the current offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Look, if you just want to talk about a guy that is more advanced and more diverse and more successful than anybody else on the offensive side of the ball when it comes to calling plays, that is Ben Johnson. The main question you got to ask yourself is, would Ben Johnson leave the Detroit Lions for the New York Football Giants? I think it's been 2 hiring cycles in a row that he has had head coach offers and head coach interviews on the table, and he's ultimately turned them down, saying he's only going to leave the Detroit Lions for a perfect situation. And I don't necessarily think the Giants are the perfect situation. But can you convince him that being able to select the quarterback you want and to have $65 million in cap space to spend to improve the team and be aligned with the general manager maybe of your choice, could that be enticing enough? I'm not so sure. I do know for a fact, though, that he is one of the best in the business when it comes to calling plays on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays. The offense for Detroit has been humming since he's been there. And look, a lot of that's due to the roster. You got a great offensive line. You've had great weapons. You got 2 good backs. That's why 3 times in the last 3 years you've been ranked inside the top 5 when it comes to points per game. And this year you are by far the most explosive offense in the National Football League. I also love what he did with Jared Goff. I'm not going to give him all the credit for Goff because he was a first-round pick. He had success with Sean McVay, and he did get to a Super Bowl. But I do think Johnson is putting Goff in the position to have the most success in his career. So I love that. My main question is, outside of would he come take this job, is Ben Johnson ready to be the CEO of the New York Football Giants? Is he ready to toe the podium and get blasted by New York Giants media members every single week? He seems like more of a reserved guy, more of a behind-the-scenes guy. And you don't have to be a rah-rah guy to be a head coach. But can he do that? I'm sure he can. We just do not know at this point. We're going to talk about 3 more coaches I would like to see the Giants at least interview if they are going to hire one if they are going to fire one in Brian Daboll. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. It is a busy offseason ahead. And when we get updates on the Giants coaching staff, we've got you covered. The Giants fire Brian Daboll. We're going to be going live on the channel. So subscribe and turn your notifications on and select them to all so you never miss a thing when it comes to Big Blue this offseason. 3 more candidates to talk about. First, though, I got to talk about the best ticketing app in the game, and that is GameTime. What time is it? GameTime. Download the app. Create an account. Use that promo code ChatSports, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. GameTime is the ticketing app where you get the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. You get to see your seat view in the app. You get to access your tickets from your phone. And if you decide last minute that you no longer want to go to the game, it is easy to resell your tickets as well. The app will actually alert you via a flash deal notification when the prices are the best on the market. Views from the seats inside the app and the lowest price guaranteed. Prices were dirt cheap to go to the Saints-Giants game. That's why I want to show this photo. You could have sat lower bowl for $37. And if you use the promo code ChatSports, you could have sat lower bowl for $17. The best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. And if you're going to go watch a Giants game the remainder of the year, yeah, you better use that promo code and save yourself $20. So download the app, create an account, promo code ChatSports, ChatSports, for $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. Number 3 on my Brian Daboll replacements list, if fired, is Bill Belichick. And I know some people are going to hate this. I know some people are going to love this. And we talked about it with Vrabel. The New York Giants are a mess right now. And if I could hire someone to come clean up the mess, I don't have a problem turning to the best football coach ever. because that is what Bill Belichick is. I do want to say this. There are multiple reports out there that Bill Belichick could be taking the head coaching job at North Carolina. That has legit legs. There's rumors out there that he has accepted the job, but it is dependent on if North Carolina wants him to be there. So maybe by the time you're watching this video, he's already been hired. If not, though, I definitely think he should be on the short list of interviews that the New York Giants should conduct to be their next head coach. Couple of pros and cons, because I do think there are pros and cons to making Belichick your next coach. One, he's 73 years old this upcoming spring. That's a major, major con. But he's the best head coach of all time. And he gives you an identity. He might be the best defensive coach in the history of football. You immediately become a defensive juggernaut under Bill Belichick. You immediately exude a winning culture. Has the game passed him by, though? Can he assemble a staff? Can he just work as the head coach? Because I don't want him to be the general manager. We've seen what has happened when he has been the de facto guy in New England, especially in the NFL draft. Is he just going to retread all his New England boys to come be the assistants in New York? Are we going to get Matt Patricia as the DC? Are we going to get Josh McDaniels as the OC? Is there a GM that he can work with? There's a lot of things I'm worried about. But what I'm not worried about is him being able to get the most success out of the New York Giants roster every single Sunday. I'm also going to be guaranteed and sleep easy at night knowing we're not the laughing stock of the NFL anymore. He gives you a winning mindset, a winning attitude, and maybe the best coach in all of sports as the head of your organization. These last two ones, I wanted to go a little bit outside the box. Everyone's talking about the guys that we're talking about so far. I want to go outside the box. What about the head coach, Dan Lanning of the Oregon Ducks? You want to talk about a program builder? You want to talk about a guy that's got grit? Talk about hard-nosed football guy? Dan Lanning is your guy. He has restructured the look and the feel of the Oregon Ducks. Speed, finesse, soft. That's how you described Oregon. Now they're tough-nosed. They play downhill. They're a defensive-minded team, and they've got a swag about them that they did not have there before. Hard-nosed, no nonsense, and an infectious energy about him. He's never been a head coach in the NFL. I am a little bit worried about that. And I've said I wanted a guy that's been there and done that. But, man, I love everything about this guy. When I hear him speak, my heart starts jumping, and I'm ready to run through a brick wall. He was the Georgia DC from 2019 to 2021. So he specializes on the defensive side of the ball. He would bring that type of identity to this team, but I want him more so as the CEO of this operation. Go hire a badass DC. Go hire a badass OC. And I want the New York Giants to be feared again. And under Lanning, you can be that young, energetic, and new ideas to an old, boring franchise, which is the New York Football Giants. And look, maybe this doesn't really matter, but once you're done watching this video, go search Dan Lanning pregame speeches. You want to see him take a sledgehammer to go smash a Washington helmet? Go do that. We play for wins. We don't play for clicks like Colorado football. He has no problem being the villain. I kind of like that. He'll call you out if he doesn't like you. I like that. And there's just something about him that I think he could be a successful coach in the NFL, and I love the brand that he would bring to this organization. An absolute wild card on this one. One that I think would be very interesting. And maybe we're more so talking about him as an OC. But I wanted to talk about a guy that was a candidate that no one is talking about as a head coach. What about Josh McCown? This is a swing for the fences. This is we are going to bet on a guy that's played in the NFL before, that's starting to rise through the coaching ranks, and he is going to be able to hopefully have success here. 16-year NFL vet. He was the 2023 Panthers QB coach. But the reason I love him, and I think he'd be a good head coach in this league, is because what he has done at his current job, which is the 2024 Vikings QB coach. I've talked to Patrick Seaman here, who covers the Minnesota Vikings, and he gives a lot of credit to Sam Darnold's growth, obviously to Kevin O'Connell, but a lot of it to Josh McCown, who is the QB coach. He always talks about McCown is in the ear of Darnold when he comes to the sideline. Doesn't call play for them, but he is a guy that's been in the NFL. He has had success as a QB coach, and I love that he has learned from Kevin O'Connell, who I think is one of the most underrated coaches in this league. And I like the idea of having a former quarterback that really didn't have all that much success in the NFL, but had to stay in this league due to his IQ, can have a relationship with this next rookie quarterback that you're going to go out and draft. He is number 5 on my list, and maybe I like him more as an OC. But I did want to talk about him on today's show, and I do think he could be somebody that down the road is a head coach in this league. He has already interviewed for the Texans job twice, did not get it. But I think we should all keep an eye on McCown being a head coach in this league sooner rather than later. Can he be the Giants' next Kevin O'Connell? So you got Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson, Bill Belichick, Dan Lanning, and Josh McCown. There's other guys that I'm interested in as well, but we don't have all day on today's show, so just wanted to give you 5 quick names. How about you pick a guy? Who do you want to be the next head coach of the Giants? Type the initials of the guy you want, and if it's Brian Daboll, type BD. I'll be honest with you. If I've ranked Brian Daboll on this list, he'd probably be number 4, right behind Bill Belichick. But it's easily Mike Vrabel number 1 for me. If you guys want a GM replacement video, I've been thinking about doing one for Joe Shane because he needs to go, gotta go, needs to go, cannot stay here. You don't gotta go home, but you gotta get the hell up out of here. If you want a GM replacement video, hit that thumbs up icon and make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram @MarshallGreen_. If you haven't yet, like video and subscribe, and let's go Big Blue.